But the first is not to accept that what we see in Ukraine is Taiwan's destiny. I don't think that's the case at all. I think many autocrats around the world are watching what they perceive to be the mighty Russian military run into a complete buzzsaw, a complete disaster. More Russian soldiers killed in 2 weeks than it's just extraordinary. Up to 15,000 Russian soldiers killed, 10 to 15% of the army demobilized. Incredible morale problems, the number of generals that have been killed in this war, the lack of functioning of their equipment. This is a disaster for the Russian military. And for the Russian leadership. And so this does not need to be Taiwan's destiny, because I think many have seen the bravado of invasion of a democracy, a resilient democracy, is not so easy. The lessons that I think Taiwan can draw are precisely what we've seen in Ukraine. That Ukraine has had an activated population, a mobilized civil society. I was talking to some of our Ukrainian partners, our civil society organizations that are doing humanitarian work, peaceful work, and they said, you need to understand, the Russian army thought they were going to be fighting the Ukrainian army. They're not. They're fighting the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian nation. And all of us, some have joined the military, territorial defenses, but everybody else, civilians, women, mothers, are activated in civilian response. And that has been extraordinary. It has helped stop the Russian invasion because the entire nation of Ukraine is mobilized to protect its freedom. And that therein is where some of the lessons for Taiwan lie. How do you understand that your national security is the responsibility of every person, of every citizen, of every individual? It's not just a government function. It's not a military function. I'd say two things for Taiwan as well. What are the attributes for some who are not full-time in the armed forces to be able to join the armed forces on short notice? And that was a really important attribute for Ukrainians, where they could join the territorial defense and to be well-equipped and trained to help support. But as importantly, to understand every civil society organization, every institution in Taiwan can be part of the fabric of its resilience and of its civic resistance to any effort to undermine the sovereignty of the island. I think that mentality, that this is what we own together, is really important. I talked to the president here, President Tsai and others, about the examples that we've seen in Sweden and Finland, countries that are not in NATO. They don't enjoy the Article 5 protection of U.S. commitment on defense, yet they have a very close relationship with the United States, politically and security-wise, just like Taiwan. But they also have a very comprehensive definition of their resilience and defense that engages the entire population to make it very unlikely that an adversary could defeat them, could occupy them. And I think that's a really important lesson for Taiwan, to understand that the Taiwanese people have the ability to shape and control their own future, their own destiny, by being active participants in the resilience and the defense of Taiwan.